Welcome to another episode on our channel. We have Iron Man and now Captain America both done. They look great, but there were a few more problems with Captain America compared to Iron Man. Even though it was made by the same 3D modeler from CG Trader, this particular figure had more crisscrossing lines on it, so it was really hard to wipe the paint off. I had to do more dabbing, which meant that this ended up being a little more grungy instead of, slick, smooth looking silver being protected as much as possible, and just the wash in the creases. Here, there's a little more wash on the raised elements of the bust, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to have it kind of look like this one. But anyway, couldn't do it for a couple reasons. Again, the crisscrossing lines, it made it hard to do perpendicular or 90-degree, wipe offs, because crisscrossing lines, no matter how you wipe it off, you're going to take the wash out of a crease that's going in the wrong direction. So the other problem, though, was this is texturized. The outfit is texturized, so it's going to hold the paint a little more aggressively, shall I say. So that made him a little more grungy looking. The other problem I notice now with both of these statues comes in the form of the name. So this Captain America with the Avengers, this is smaller than this one. And I think the only remedy for that, because my husband made them the same size, is to print out this one from Iron Man and put it on the Captain America one. And I think when we were able to do that, they'll be as close as we can possibly get them. So the only thing I can think of that would actually work for Captain America to bring out more silver is to actually paint around the creases silver, but it won't look as natural, unfortunately. That would be a cumbersome process, and I don't think he looks all that bad. He just needs a nameplate that's about the same size. But this pose, again, very similar to this pose in terms of motion with the shield. It looks like this bust or this Captain America is either catching or throwing, getting ready to throw his shield. This Captain America has thrown his shield, or it's on its way back to him. So I think these two newer Avengers look great to the vintage Kotobukiya set we have here. We don't have a Thor bust from the same modeler. Otherwise, we'd be adding a third bust to this set. But I like it. I think it looks cool. And it won't take up room because the busts, they're just in front of these three statues. So I think they look great. So we're going to pause right now and get these two guys, Captain Americas, on a turn tray so we can see them more closely. So here's the more modern Captain America, one of the Avengers, next to a more vintage looking Captain America, a statue produced by Kotobukiya. This is a 3D resin print, as I noted earlier, by a 3D Wicked from CG Trader. What I like about both of these figures is that they're in dynamic poses, and the shield seems to be the primary focus, whether it's being thrown in the process of being thrown, whether it's coming back in the process of being caught, or what have you. It's still the primary focus. And they're almost mirror images, sort of like with the Iron Man that we saw a few episodes back. Those two figures, the Kotobukiya figure and the 3D resin print, are almost like mirror images as well. regardless, I think they look very nice next to each other. And I'm glad I chose silver, like I said, with Iron Man. I could have chosen copper or some other metallic color, but I went with silver. And with the diorama that has primarily silver in it, I think it was an absolutely great match. Went a little too far there. There we go. I just want to run through a little history because I love history and it was fun looking this stuff up. So I looked at comic book heroes, Marvel characters, and the first set of names I did not recognize at all. The Submariner, Khazar the Great, American Ace, and the Human Torch. I didn't recognize those names. The fifth one, Electro, I did recognize. Electro was portrayed by Jamie Foxx in No Way Home, Spider-Man. But then that was the late 1930s to the early 40s. After a few more figures I don't recognize, then I start recognizing more figures. Black Widow in the early 1940s, but it was not Natalia, it was a different Black Widow, clairvoyant. And then there was Captain America. And then there was Winter Soldier, Red Skull, Loki, Thor, Groot. Who knew? Groot. The Hulk, Dr. Doom. And then in the 60s, we start to recognize more and more names. We've got Spider-Man. We got Iron Man, Nick Fury, Doctor Strange, and Magneto. So that's a whole, and I can't recite all the figures, but a lot of names I don't even recognize. And a lot of names I do recognize. The ones I recognize are these three guys. So in comic book history, the first one out was Captain America, followed by Thor, and then Iron Man. But in terms of recent movie history, the first one out was Iron Man, 2008, which was followed by Iron Man 2 in 2010. Same year, Thor came out, 2010. And a year later, 2011, Captain America, the first Avenger, came out, which is true. He was out of the three, the first Avenger in comic book history. Although you can make a case that maybe Black Widow came first. At least the clairvoyant one, not the Natalia one. So anyway, it's just interesting to me. But what I didn't like about this Captain America statue was the nameplate. If we look at Iron Man and we put them side by side, the nameplate is way too small. The statues are about the same size, but the nameplates are off. So I had my husband make this nameplate from Iron Man, and we just put it on Captain America. So not only are they matching now in terms of size as statues, but they're matching in terms of nameplates. Now, all we desperately need is a bust like this from the upper thighs on up of Thor. And so we're going to ask 3D Wicked, from who puts his work out on CG Trader, we're going to ask him if he'd be willing to make Thor so we can kind of complete our set. That would be absolutely perfect if it does happen. But I am so much happier now that the nameplates are making these two more recent figures more symmetrical. You know me, and symmetry and colors and so forth. Now we just need Thor to complete the set. But I'm happy we made a change to the nameplate here. And so is our cat. Anyway, so here's one last look at our complete set as it stands now. Our vintage Kotobukiya figures, not vintage in terms of age, but that they used older figures to represent Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, and our newer, more movie-driven figures, Bus, Iron Man, and Captain America. We'll be happy when we get Thor, if we can get a hold of Thor. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. It almost looks like I'm holding this shield. Look at that. Subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.